Gentlemen, let me be brutally honest. If you've ever wondered why the nice guy ends up alone while the reckless, arrogant guy gets all the attention, you're about to get answers that society doesn't want you to hear. Women chasing after bad boys isn't just a cliche, it's a pattern rooted deep in psychology, biology, and cultural conditioning. And yes, it might make you uncomfortable, but that's the point. Here's the harsh truth: women are wired to seek excitement, challenge, and a thrill. The bad guy represents all of that in a package: confidence, unpredictability, and risk. He's the man who tests limits, lives on his own terms, and doesn't bend to anyone's expectations. On the other hand, the nice guy, he's predictable, polite, and safe. He's respectful, loyal, and dependable. But ironically, that makes him invisible in the early stages of attraction. Now, before you start blaming women or calling them shallow, hear me out. This isn't about their morality. It's about human instincts and emotional triggers. Women are subconsciously drawn to traits that signal strength, dominance, and challenge, qualities they associate with the bad boy persona. Meanwhile, the nice guy, who is genuinely kind and accommodating, often gets labeled as boring or too safe. But here's the twist. Understanding this isn't about changing women. It's about changing how you show up. Attraction isn't a reward for politeness. It's a spark ignited by confidence, self-respect, and a bit of edge. If you want to stop being rejected, you need to understand these hidden rules of attraction. Stick with me, because in this video, we're breaking down 10 shocking reasons women chase bad guys but reject nice guys, and by the end, you'll see how to shift the game in your favor. 1. Excitement over stability. Gentlemen, here's the cold, uncomfortable truth. Women often choose excitement over stability. That's right, your reliability, your steady paycheck, your polite text messages, none of that guarantees attraction. Stability is safe, and safe doesn't spark desire. Excitement, unpredictability, and a sense of adventure, that gets the heart racing. Women are wired to feel emotions intensely, and the bad boy delivers that roller coaster of feeling that the nice guy rarely can think about it. When was the last time you felt butterflies texting someone safe and predictable? Exactly. The thrill comes from risk, the chance of being rejected, challenged, or even broken apart. That tension creates attraction. Stability is comforting, but comfort is boring. Women subconsciously equate excitement with passion, strength, and the ability to take risks, qualities that are deeply hardwired in human attraction patterns. Imagine a guy who suddenly shows up at a friend's party with no warning, pulls someone onto the dance floor, and just owns the room with charisma and boldness. That moment is electric. Compare that to the nice guy who plans the perfect date, texts politely all week, and follows every rule. She'll remember the thrill of the unexpected more than the predictability of comfort. That doesn't mean she won't eventually appreciate stability, but initial attraction is often about intensity, not reliability. Here's the lesson. Being good isn't enough. If you want to capture attention, you must create moments of energy and unpredictability in your presence. Excitement is magnetic. Stability alone keeps you in the friend zone. You can be a nice guy, but if that's all you show, you're competing with boredom. This isn't about playing games or being cruel. It's about understanding human nature. Women aren't rejecting you for being good. They're rejecting the lack of spark, the absence of thrill. To stand out, you need to blend your kindness with confidence, boldness, and energy. The balance is what transforms attraction from polite interest into desire. Remember, gentlemen, excitement ignites the flame. Stability keeps it burning later. But without the spark, nothing ever catches fire. 2. Confidence beats kindness. Listen closely, men. Being kind won't automatically make a woman fall for you. I know that sounds unfair, but the truth is brutal. Women are drawn to confidence far more than niceness. Confidence signals self-respect, strength, and independence. Kindness, that just tells her you're polite and safe. And while those qualities are valuable in the long term, they rarely trigger the spark of attraction in the first place. Confidence is magnetic because it creates presence. It's not about arrogance or showing off, it's about knowing who you are and owning it. A confident man walks into a room and commands attention without saying a word. A nice guy, on the other hand, constantly seeks approval, asks if he's doing things right, and avoids rocking the boat. Guess which one women notice first? Picture this. Two men approach the same woman at a cafe. One smiles, introduces himself confidently, and makes a playful joke. The other politely waits for permission to speak, compliments her excessively, and constantly tries to please. She's intrigued by the first guy, not the second. Why? Because confidence is exciting. Niceness alone feels ordinary and expected. Here's the tricky part. Confidence doesn't mean you stop being kind. It means kindness is wrapped in self-assurance rather than desperation. A confident man can say no without guilt, set boundaries, and pursue what he wants without hesitation. That energy is irresistible. A nice guy who fears rejection or avoids conflict often appears weak or boring, even if his intentions are pure. Understand this. Attraction isn't a reward for being polite. Women are wired to respond to strength, assertiveness, and self-belief. If you want to step out of the friend zone, you must prioritize showing confidence in how you move, speak, and act. Niceness alone won't cut it. Remember, gentlemen, confidence beats kindness because it creates desire. Kindness is essential for keeping a woman invested over time, but initial attraction is fueled by presence, energy, and boldness. The moment you master confidence while staying genuine, you stop being just a nice guy and start being a man who excites, challenges, and intrigues. 3. Risk equals attraction. Gentlemen, let's be real. Women are drawn to risk. Not danger for danger's sake, but the kind of risk that signals strength, independence, and unpredictability. It's human nature. Bad boys take chances, push boundaries, and live on the edge, and that energy creates intense attraction. Nice guys, they play it safe, avoid conflict, and follow all the rules. Safe is comfortable, but safe rarely excites. Think about it. Women want a man who can handle life, not someone who fears it. When you show that you can step into the unknown, take control, and face challenges without hesitation, it sparks curiosity and desire. Risk tells her you're confident in yourself, and that confidence is more magnetic than any polite compliment. Here's another truth you can't ignore. Risk isn't just about what you do, it's about how you carry yourself. A man who's willing to challenge himself, speak his mind, and take chances in life sends a signal that he's not boring. Predictability, on the other hand, can feel suffocating. When a woman senses that a man is willing to step outside his comfort zone, it creates tension, excitement, and intrigue, things that niceness alone cannot generate. Being willing to take risks also sets you apart. Most men avoid it because they fear judgment, rejection, or failure. That's why the bad boys stand out. They're not afraid to fail, to be bold, to make moves others won't. Women notice that bravery, even if they don't consciously understand why. They associate risk with passion, strength, and the ability to make life interesting. Here's the takeaway. If you want to stop being overlooked, you need to embrace a level of unpredictability and courage in your life. Playing it safe keeps you invisible. Taking smart risks, being bold in your actions, showing initiative, and stepping outside your comfort zone creates energy that draws attention naturally. Gentlemen, remember, attraction isn't about being perfect or playing it safe. It's about showing that you have the courage to live life fully. Even if it's messy or uncertain at times, women are wired to notice that spark, that edge, that energy. Nice guys who never step out of their comfort zone may be polite and reliable, but they rarely inspire excitement. Risk equals attraction. Understand it, embrace it, and you start to stand out in ways you never thought possible. 4. Nice guys play. Safe gentlemen, here's a tough pill to swallow. Too many of you are playing it safe, and that's why women overlook you. You follow all the rules, never take risks, and avoid conflict at all costs. You think being polite, patient, and predictable will win her over. Newsflash. It rarely does. Safety might be comfortable for you, but it's boring for her. Playing it safe keeps you in the friend zone, watching the bad boys get all the attention. Wake up. Attraction isn't earned by being cautious. Women are wired to respond to energy, confidence, and unpredictability. When you play it safe, you send a subconscious signal that you lack boldness, courage, or a sense of adventure, and that's not sexy. Nice guys, it's time to stop being invisible by default. Stop thinking that politeness alone equals desire. It doesn't. Here's the harsh truth. If you never challenge her, never make bold moves, and never show passion for your own life, she's going to look elsewhere. And it won't be the jerk she's dating because he's mean. It'll be the man who excites her, who stands out, who isn't afraid to take chances. Playing safe might protect your ego, but it also guarantees mediocrity in attraction. Many men mistake patience for strategy, caution for respect, and predictability for charm. That's a mistake. Respect and charm matter, but only after she's interested. First, you need to grab her attention. That requires boldness. That requires showing that you have your own life, your own ambitions, and your own rules. Being a doormat or a safe bet will never make her see you as a desirable man. Gentlemen, take this seriously. Wake up and start taking action in your life. Step out of your comfort zone, be assertive, adventurous, and unafraid to show who you are. Playing safe might feel like the right approach, but in reality, it keeps you invisible while the bad boys capture the thrill and excitement she craves. Don't let your politeness become your prison. Attraction isn't about avoiding risk. It's about standing out, showing energy, and being a man who excites her. Stop playing it safe. Take charge of your life, your confidence, and your presence. The moment you do, you start to move from being overlooked to being irresistible. 5. Challenge triggers interest. Gentlemen, here's a truth many men refuse to accept. Women are drawn to challenges, not because they're cruel or complicated, but because human psychology responds to tension, curiosity, and the unknown. If you make everything easy, predictable, and instantly available, you remove the spark. Challenge triggers interest. Comfort kills it. Too many nice guys make themselves too accessible. They say yes too often, follow every rule, and avoid disagreement to keep the peace. They think that by being easy to get along with, they'll be more attractive. Wrong. That behavior signals low energy, low confidence, and low self-value. When a woman has to chase, pursue, or work a little to earn attention, her brain lights up. That's how attraction works. Challenge isn't about being mean or manipulative. It's about being a man with standards, boundaries, and self-respect. It's about having a life that isn't centered around her approval. When you show that your time, attention, and energy are valuable, she starts to see you as someone worth earning. That tension, that pursuit, triggers desire in ways politeness never will. Gentlemen, many of you misunderstand what challenge really means. It's not playing games or being cruel. It's showing that you have depth, independence, and a life of your own. It's saying no when it matters, having opinions, and not bending to every whim. That's what excites women. When you present yourself as a man who isn't easily won over, suddenly you're no longer just a nice guy. You're someone intriguing, someone magnetic. Here's the wake-up call. If you want to stop being overlooked, you need to embrace challenge in your approach to attraction. Stop making it too easy. Stop being overly agreeable. Start valuing yourself, your time, and your standards. Women respond to energy, boldness, and the sense that there's something to earn, to figure out, or to chase. Remember, gentlemen, attraction is not earned by being simple or available. It's ignited by tension, challenge, and the sense of mystery. The moment you become predictable, you lose her attention. But when you introduce challenge through independence, confidence, and selective availability, you trigger interest, curiosity, and desire. Stop being too easy. Step up. Be the man worth chasing. 6. Scarcity versus availability. Gentlemen, let's be honest. Being constantly available is one of the fastest ways to make a woman lose interest. The more she sees you waiting around, always ready to drop everything, the less exciting you become. Scarcity, having your own life, your own plans, and your own value, creates intrigue. Women notice a man who isn't always there. Availability kills desire. Scarcity fuels it. Too many nice guys make the mistake of overinvesting too early. They text immediately, reply to every message, and schedule their lives around her. They believe being attentive equals attraction. It doesn't. When you're always available, you communicate that your time isn't valuable, your energy is disposable, and your life lacks independent purpose. That's not attractive. Scarcity, on the other hand, signals confidence, ambition, and a man who lives on his own terms. Here's the truth. Women are wired to notice effort and value it. When a man has a life that isn't centered around her, she starts to pay attention. She notices when he has priorities, passions, and boundaries. Scarcity isn't about ignoring her. It's about showing that your time, attention, and energy are valuable. Being selective, having standards, and not being constantly at her disposal creates respect and desire simultaneously. Gentlemen, Many of you don't realize that overavailability pushes women away faster than arrogance ever could. You think the more you give, the more she'll like you. But the opposite is true. When you're scarce, she subconsciously asks, why is he not always here? What's special about him? That question builds intrigue. That's the spark that keeps her engaged. Wake up. Attraction isn't about being nice, polite, or endlessly accommodating. It's about energy, presence, and showing that you have a life she can't fully access. Scarcity works because it signals independence, confidence, and strength. Availability kills desire because it signals neediness, desperation, and predictability. Remember, gentlemen, you don't need to ignore her or play games. You simply need to show that your life is bigger than her alone. Your attention is valuable. Your time is limited. Scarcity triggers curiosity, challenge, and desire. Stop being too available. Live your life fully, and suddenly she starts chasing instead of the other way around 7. Emotional roller coaster. Gentlemen, here's something most men fail to grasp. Women are drawn to emotional intensity. That doesn't mean chaos or abuse, it means energy, unpredictability, and passion. A man who creates an emotional roller coaster captivates attention because he evokes feelings that go beyond comfort. Nice guys, they're steady, predictable, and polite, and that predictability often feels boring. Women are wired to respond to emotional highs and lows, not extremes, but stimulation. Moments that make her feel alive, challenged, and engaged. When a man shows excitement, spontaneity, or boldness, it triggers a rush of interest. When a man is calm, agreeable, and constantly safe, her brain interprets it as neutral, uninteresting, and easy to overlook. Here's the hard truth. Many men mistake stability for value. They believe that being consistent, reliable, and always nice will keep her invested. In reality, emotional predictability can make you invisible. Women crave tension in small doses, not drama, but the thrill of unpredictability. That energy is what keeps her curious, engaged, and coming back for more. Men, think about your own attention. Would you stay fascinated by someone who is always the same, never surprises you, and never challenges you emotionally? Of course not. Human nature responds to change, excitement, and passion. Women are no different. They want a man who can make them feel alive, not someone who simply goes along with everything. Wake up, this isn't about being manipulative, it's about showing life, energy, and intensity in your presence. Be expressive. Show ambition, humor, and desire. Take chances emotionally, not recklessly, but confidently. Let her see that you're fully engaged in life and that your attention isn't guaranteed. That combination of unpredictability and genuine passion creates attraction that niceness alone cannot. Gentlemen, understand this. The emotional roller coaster is a natural part of human connection. Women chase bad boys not because they're cruel, but because they trigger feelings that safe, nice guys rarely do. To stand out, you must bring energy, intensity, and unpredictability into your interactions. That's how desire is created. Niceness keeps you comfortable. Emotional energy makes you unforgettable. Conclusion, controversial statement. Gentlemen, here's a truth most people won't admit. Being nice is overrated. Yes, I said it. The world glorifies kindness, patience, and politeness as the ultimate virtues. But when it comes to attraction, these qualities alone will leave you invisible. Women chase bad boys not because they're evil or cruel, but because they trigger excitement, passion, and a sense of challenge that nice guys rarely deliver. That's reality, and ignoring it will keep you stuck in the friend zone. Now, I know this might sting. Many of you have been told that if you're kind, loyal, and respectful, women will naturally come to you. That's a comforting lie. Attraction isn't a reward for morality. It's a spark ignited by confidence, energy, and the ability to make her feel alive. Politeness keeps doors open, but it doesn't make her chase you. Wake up, men. If you want desire, you must learn the hidden rules that society won't openly teach. I want to hear from you. Comment below with your experiences. Have you been the nice guy who gets overlooked while the reckless guys get attention? I'll read every comment and personally reach out to discuss your situation. This isn't just theory, it's about real change in how you approach attraction and relationships. Let's start a conversation, build understanding, and break the cycle of being overlooked. And here's your cliffhanger. In the next video, I'm going to reveal the one trait that can instantly make you more desirable than any bad boy, no matter how safe or nice you think you are. Miss it. And you'll keep wondering why you're invisible. Don't miss it. Gentlemen, remember, nice alone isn't enough. Be bold, create excitement, challenge her, and own your life. The moment you do, everything changes.